You ever wonder what happens when a bunch of nerdy kids with Dungeons and Dragons manuals accidentally open a portal to another dimension? Stick with me, because we are diving headfirst into Hawkins, Indiana, where waffles, walkie-talkies, and a whole lot of chaos change everything. Hey everyone, welcome back to Movie Recaps Hub Podcast. Today we're covering Stranger Things Season 2, full run, all the highs, the scares, and the messy emotional stuff. So get comfy and let's jump in. Welcome back to Hawkins. The boys are hanging out at the arcade and dealing with a huge crisis. Dustin's Dig Dug high score has been beaten by someone named Mad Max, while Byers is dealing with a much bigger crisis. He is having flashbacks to the Upside Down and other weird symptoms. Joyce takes him to the Hawkins lab. There is a new, friendly doctor in charge who claims no more evil experiments. The lab is still shady and the portal to the Upside Down is still in the basement, though they say it is contained. A new girl is at school. Her name is Maxine Mad Max. She is great at Dig Dug and all the boys have crushes on her. Will's mom Joyce meets a guy named Bob. He is a sweet dork who is really nice. Jonathan and Nancy still like each other, but Nancy is technically still with Steve. Barb's parents, who never got answers, have hired an investigator. He bothers Hopper with theories about Russians and aliens and everything in between. Where has Eleven been since Season 1? She disappeared after killing the Demogorgon and has been living with Hopper. After the events at the lab, Eleven spent time in the woods until she found the egg as Hopper had been leaving. Hopper eventually took her to his cabin. On Halloween she wants to trick or treat, but Hopper says no because the feds are still looking for her. Dustin and Lucas charm Max into hanging out and invite her trick-or-treating. Max has an older brother, Billy, who is a very 80s attractive guy with major anger problems. He almost runs the boys off the road and later becomes the cool kid, which sparks a rivalry with Steve. Nancy is feeling guilty about Barb. She drinks, confesses she does not love Steve, and their relationship breaks down. Dustin finds a strange tadpole creature in his trash. He names it Dart. It looks cute at first, but Will recognizes it as similar to the little slug he coughed up last season. Dart evolves quickly. Dustin shows it to the others, but it escapes and later eats his aunt's cat. Will starts having more severe seizures and weird behavior. He insists he is still in control, but he might be partially possessed or connected to something in the Upside Down. His drawings, when arranged, create a pattern that the family realizes matches vines in the Upside Down. They lay the drawings around the house and figure out there are tunnels in Hawkins being converted into Upside Down territory. Hopper falls into one of these tunnels and gets into trouble. Joyce and Bob use Will's drawings as clues. Bob, with his puzzles and brain-dead charm, helps them decode it and find Hopper. They save him. The Hawkins lab tries to respond by burning things down, but that causes Will to seize more. Eleven digs into lab files and finds her mother. She hitchhikes to confront her aunt and prove who she is. Eleven proves she is the psychic child the family said was gone. She meets her mother, but her mother is not stable. Eleven is trying to psychically communicate and keep replaying the day she was taken. She meets another escaped test subject known as Number 8 and briefly falls in with a kind of punk gang. Number 8 demonstrates different powers like mental illusions. 11 is tempted by a darker side when the gang gives her a makeover and starts encouraging revenge on those who hurt them. They track down Dr. Brenner, the man from the lab who did electroshock and brain experiments on her. She confronts him, but ultimately 11 chooses not to kill him. She chooses the light side and leaves the gang life. Later she psychically checks on her friends and sees they are in danger, so she returns to help them. Back at the lab, the portal they thought contained is actually extending underground, creating tunnels and letting more creatures through. Demodogs, the younger forms of Demogorgons, attack. Two main characters hide in a security room. The power goes out and the only person who seems to know what to do is Bob. Bob goes down into darkness, restores power, and opens doors using skills no one else had. He becomes a real hero. Bob is later attacked by a Demodog in the lobby. He dies. It is a heartbreaking moment. The gang consults their Dungeons and Dragons manual and learn about the Mind Flayer, a massive entity that controls minds and sends Demodogs as its minions. They realize Will is acting as a spy or bridge for the Mind Flayer. They plan to close the gate, but closing it could kill Will because of his connection. The plan becomes twofold. First, remove the creature from Will, then close the gate. 11 returns dramatically wearing a darker outfit for a bit, but she reunites with Mike and the group. They decide to perform an exorcism of sorts on Will. They warm him up, blast him with heat and light, and the shadow monster is forced out of his body. The exorcism works. Will recovers. Hopper and 11 go to close the gate, but they are blocked by an army of Demodogs. The kids create a distraction to draw the monsters away. Max's brother Billy causes trouble and is aggressive toward Max. Max stabs him with a tranquilizer and knocks him out to protect herself. She takes his car and earns the nickname Mad Max. Dustin and Steve become an unlikely duo, with Steve giving Dustin grooming tips and a kind of mentorship that turns out to be hilarious and sweet. Dustin's friendship with Dart the creature becomes a surprising emotional beat that helps at a critical moment. When 11 reaches the portal, she uses all of her strength. She lifts and closes it with both hands, the Mind Flayer reaching out. 11 sacrifices and focuses until the gate closes. The Demodogs die and the Mind Flayer is pushed back. Hawkins' lab is exposed after a journalist writes the story. Justice for Barb is finally trending as a real thing. The lab is shut down. The season ends at the middle school dance. Dustin embraces Steve's hair advice and tries to ask the hottest girl in school to dance. Max and Lucas are a thing now. Will finds a girl to dance with. Mike is left sad and alone until 11 shows up. The nice doctor who had been somewhat redeemed gives 11 a birth certificate, a chance at a normal life. 11 and Mike share an awkward middle school dance and a first kiss. It is wholesome. Meanwhile, in the Upside Down, the Mind Flayer is still plotting, leaving us with a lingering chill as season 2 closes. Alright, that was Stranger Things Season 2, full recap. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like the video, leave a comment with your favorite 11 moment, and subscribe to Movie Recaps Hub podcast for more recaps like this. I read every comment and I love hearing what you want next. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you in the next recap.